Jai Gurudev. Happy New Year to everybody. The satsang today is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 90, verse 50. By regularly hearing, chanting and meditating on the beautiful topics of Lord Mukunda with ever-increasing sincerity, a mortal being will attain the divine kingdom of the Lord, where the inviolable power of death holds no sway. For this purpose, many persons, including great kings, abandoned their mundane homes and took to the forest. So this verse is actually the Falashruti from the Canto 10. Falashruti is always in the end the thing which tells the success about when you do something. Like we do the Vishnu Sahasranama. After you finish the chanting of the Vishnu Sahasranama, there's the Falashruti, which tells you what is the benefit of doing the Vishnu Sahasranama. Because if we don't know the benefit, then we will not do it. Yeah, it's like, why would I buy it? What does it bring me? What is it good for me? So here also, in this verse, he's telling what is the benefit of listening to the stories of the Lord, of chanting His name, of serving Him. And the main point which I take from this verse is where he says, chanting His name, or better, starting hearing His name, chanting His name, and then engaging in service. But he makes one point, with ever-increasing sincerity. With ever-increasing sincerity. Once you do that, then you will get the full benefit from it. Then he will awake inside. Then you will have this intimate relationship. Then you will get everything what you need, if you do it with sincerity. All of you have heard yesterday when Guruji speaks, well, he says it over and over again, but I made even some notes. He said literally, if transformation does not happen, nothing happens. Because the outside change doesn't mean anything. Meaning, if you become a devotee, you just paint a tilak on your forehead, you put on a kantimala, it doesn't mean anything if you don't change, if you don't transform. It doesn't mean anything. The whole outside show, he is not interested, and he keeps on repeating it. And yesterday when the Swamis were talking, everybody was saying more sincerity, more depth. Everybody keeps on repeating the same thing for themselves and what we wish for the Sangha in Bhakti Marga. But how do we get to this point of having more sincerity? How do we get to a point of having more love and living it with more depth? Isn't it if we have more knowledge about the things? Isn't it if we, like it starts with having faith. We have a basic faith where we come here. But then the love increases through knowledge. The love increases through knowledge, like when Guruji tells the story of the man who finds a ring on the beach. And he thinks, wow, nice ring. It's probably worth 50 euros. It's nice metal, a nice stone on top. Now he is attached, he is joyful, he likes this ring. He brings it home, and his father is actually a goldsmith, and he looks at the metal and says, wow, this is 24 karat gold. This is at least worth 500 euros. Now your love for that ring has increased 10 times, isn't it? It is not something which you're gonna lose easily. And then the uncle comes over, and he's actually somebody who knows about stones, and he looks at the stone and he says, wow, this is a 5-carat yellow diamond with whatever purity. This is worth 500,000 euros. Has your love increased for that ring? It definitely has. The attachment, the liking of that thing has increased through the knowledge which you have about the thing. Or he was telling the story of somebody who had an accident, terrible accident, road accident, and got unconscious, was dying on the road. And a stranger was passing by and took the person in and brought it to the hospital. You wake up in the hospital, you were unconscious, you don't remember anything. Now the family has gathered, everybody's there, you wake up, what's going on? You're happy to see everybody, and you see that one stranger over there, and you think like, who is that guy? What does he have to do with all my family? And then they tell you, he was the one who saved you. He was the one who saved your life. Doesn't that knowledge increase the love for that person, the appreciation for that person? In the same way, Krishna is our savior. Guruji is our savior. We are in this Dukkhalayam, or Prithu said we're actually in Shipiti Nilayam, not in Dukkhalayam. But by knowing, like if we know the suffering of this world, if we know, like Krishna says, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Dosha Anudarshanam, this world is a constant, somebody who has knowledge knows, has the perception this world is a constant cycle of birth, death, old age, illness. Therefore, you have to find a solution to get out of this problem. Many of us are here because we had some sort of suffering, or maybe we have still some sort of suffering, either physical or mental, or just unsatisfied internally. And that's why we go to search. So we have the faith. We hear maybe something, we have an open mind, we have faith. Like everything needs faith, no? We need for everything faith. Even those people who say you can't rely on faith, they have faith. We all believe our parents are our parents, isn't it? Isn't it? Did anybody do a genetical test? I didn't. I just trusted them. Yeah. And by them behaving in a certain way and by seeing certain relations and similarities, I conclude that I get the knowledge and the faith is actually confirmed. The faith, the knowledge, and then the love which comes with it. So knowledge is a very important point to actually come to a point of more sincerity, to do the things with more dedication. All the things, Guruji keeps on repeating it. Now, in any aspect, be it our sadhana, which our puja, like sometimes you walk through the puja kitchen and you will see some pujari walking around. And I'm like thinking, what are you doing? Purification. Why walking while doing anything? What is the point? What is the point of doing the things if there's no sincerity in it? If there's no depth in it? If there's no, will the drop of water clean my hand? If I do will that clean my hand? To some extent, but during COVID time we know that a drop of water was not enough. Right? So it's not going to clean our hand. It's a mental state of I'm taking now the time to be with the Lord. I'm not touching other things. I'm not touching my nose and my feet and my phone before I touch the deity again. No, I'm here now. I do my puja. I have my focus there. The ritual has a certain meaning. There's a certain knowledge about it, which will increase my love for the thing. Otherwise, it's just an empty ritual. No, the whole chanting. If we know what we chant, if we know a little bit what the meaning of our chant is, the knowledge will increase our love. If we, like Aradhaka was saying when Guruji sings bhajans, if I don't read the meaning of the bhajans, I honestly get just annoyed because it's not necessarily always my style of music and it's just some gibberish. Like, it doesn't mean anything to me. But if I read the meanings, they're so beautiful. If I know what is being sung, then suddenly it touches you deeply. And Guruji sings it with that feeling. It is not chanting big mantras and whatever. Does God only understand Sanskrit? Does he only like Sanskrit or Tamil or whatever? There's more than 7,000 languages in the world. Only in Bharat there's more than 1,600 languages. Does he prefer one? Does he only understand one? There's a beautiful story where the child was going to the temple, standing in front of Krishna, and with a lot of reverence, was like closed eyes, and was just standing there and mumbling something. And the first day, the priests were just looking. The second day, the priest saw again this child standing there and with much devotion, just chanting in front of God. And the third day, the priest approached the child and said, what are you chanting? You don't know any Vedic chants. What are you chanting in front of the Lord? And the child said, we just learned in kindergarten school the alphabet. So I'm doing the alphabet 15 to 20 times. And I say, my Lord, here are the letters. You make the prayers which you like the most. Yeah? It is the love what he takes. It is the love which matters. It is the sincerity which we put in our path, in what we are doing, in the dedication, in if we give a gift, if we do our kriya. Do we do our kriya with phone off, silent mode, or do not disturb, or with bling? Do we do our puja? Yeah, phone is talking. Do we do the puja with the focus only on him? Do we read about his stories? Do we listen to the satsangs with attention, or do we do 10 other things in between? Do we... Talking about do not disturb. Sincerity is something which is so precious, I think. Now, I always say it because I always think about it. When Guruji says to have his darshan, to really get what he talks about. Like sometimes he was like, he once went back to the bungalow after a satsang. He sat there, he was just shaking his head, and he was like, I'm giving satsang, I'm talking about love and God, and I see all my devotees, they're sitting in front of me, and I'm going, yes, Guruji, yes, yes. But nobody understands what I'm talking about. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. And it's true, I guess we don't know anything what he's talking about, because the depth what he is talking, the love of God, do we really understand what the love of God is? Because if we would, then the trust, the acceptance, our life would just be amazing, because we would know that he's always by our side, he always guides us. There's nothing to worry about, and therefore we wouldn't worry, we would just be grateful, we just would enjoy every moment. Exactly how he says. So, how to get to that sincerity? Like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, like the fish out of water longs for water. Guruji also says it, and I always repeat it because I always come back to that point. Why do I not have that experience? Because I'm not sincere enough. Because yes, I long, but how much do I long after I pass by in the Bhajan Cafe? Yeah? How much is it really the main point in my life? That's why I long for the longing. Long for the longing. Let it awake more, please. Make me want you more. Make me just want you, because if we want only Him, if that becomes the main point, God becomes number one in any circumstance, then nothing will bother us. Not our worries, not our desires, not our anger, nothing. Because we will become like, a little bit like Tukka, where, yeah, everybody around will get upset because we worship the black-faced God. Sincerity is the key. Once we were in France, and since many years I do one day of where I just fast. It was started with for physical things, and when I came to Guruji, he just said, yeah, carry on, and then he changed the day and he made it Friday, so do it for Ma. Okay, so you fast for Ma. And I don't know if anybody of you does some vrat sometimes, Ekadashi for example. Most of the times, unless you are in an ashram where people also know about Ekadashi or that you're fasting, most of the time you will probably be confronted with delicious food, right? When you're fasting, somebody will have cooked the best food ever. Just this Friday, we were having dinner, and the whole Italian group made like the menu. I will not tell you. It was perfect, yeah? And once we were in France, and this happened so many times when you travel with Guruji, obviously everybody cooks for him the best of the best. So we were in France, in Côte d'Azur, the feeling of beach, sun, holiday, and big table, breakfast, all kinds of foods, fresh juices. And we are sitting down, I'm sitting next to him. And the food goes around, and he takes, and he passes to me. And I look at him, and I do like, he's like, no? I was like, no, it's Friday. Ah, you are fasting. And he passes it on. And the next one comes. He puts it out. And, you're fasting. And he keeps on passing everything in front of my nose. And I am 100% honest, I was not happy with it at all. I wanted to eat so much. I was contemplating why I'm doing this. Like, why I'm doing this. And while I'm contemplating why I'm doing this, he says, why are you doing this? I said, well, you told me. I said, no. You're doing it for Ma, no? And I looked at him and I was thinking in that moment, my intellect was more rajasic than sattvic. That means selfish. So I was like thinking of a mother, especially an Italian mother, which wants to feed a child, not the child to be deprived of the food, yeah? So I was like sitting, I was like saying, what does the mother care? Like, as if she bothers if I eat or if I don't eat. Actually, a mother would want me to eat, not want me to starve and be here miserable and whatever. And I ended the whole sentences by saying, what does she care about me fasting? Yeah, what does Divine Mother care about me fasting? And you know what he said? if you do it out of love, she does care. You're laughing, but it pains. Because I noticed I'm not doing it out of love. Or actually, I should do it out of love. Sincerity. I should. Why I'm doing it as an offering to you. I can't even keep my senses under control. Ekadashi, you do Ekadashi? How much are you thinking about the next day, what you're gonna eat and to break Ekadashi? Or which Ekadashi food you can actually cook and make, and it becomes even a greater feast than any normal day. Is that Ekadashi what it is supposed to be? The time where you contemplate on God, where you put aside this physical identification and you dive deeper into your relationship with Him? Sincerity. In our fasting, in our puja, in our learning, in our studying, in our sangha, in the listening, in anything. The sincerity is that what he eats, no? Like Guruji, when we were now in India, I think the video is already out where Rishi Sambhava is telling in one of my vlogs. Now I need to make advertisement, subscribe, yeah. When Guruji was saying to one of the Prabhus, what's the point of chanting like a parrot? Or a thirsty man who says, water, 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 water. Will water come to him? Will his first will be removed? So yes, it is okay, it's better to do the things mechanically, it's better to be a parrot, but better than just being a parrot and doing things mechanically, doing your puja mechanically, doing your kriya mechanically. Better than doing it mechanically is to do it with feeling. What did he say yesterday? When you dive within, feel the flow of energy, feel the flow of love, feel him inside, like communicate with him, converse with him, take the time to really be with him, put aside everything, sarva dharma parityaja, put aside everything, forget about everything, forget your wife, your husband, your children, your job, your problems, just you and him, nothing else, to the best of your abilities. Because that is a mindset, no? I'm now taking the time for us. Many years ago, he said to me, when we spoke about Atma Kriya, about all the benefits, and how much karma it burns, and all those things, he says, don't think about those things. Just focus on the love. And you know, actually, when you do your sadhana, he was speaking about Kriya, but I think he was speaking about any spiritual practice. In essence, what you do is you're showing God that you're interested in Him. If you take time for Him and really are there with Him, you show Him that you're interested in Him. And it's like in any normal relationship. If I'm having a talk with you and I'm looking at my phone all the time, you're not the most important person in that moment, isn't it? If you do your japam and you at the same time scroll through Instagram or watch a movie or whatever, you're probably not focusing on your japam or on the deity when you do puja. The sincerity is something we can increase by having this knowledge, by knowing that if we remove certain distractions, then we will be able to dive more in. By knowing that the mind is flickery and it will always look for distractions, and therefore I have to make an extra effort that she doesn't distract me. I have to make the sankalpa, sit down, make a space, a safe space, and really do my best It's up to me to make the right environment. In reality, you're just showing him that you're interested in him. You want to make a love relationship with God? Again, in any normal human relationship, if you tell somebody, I love you, and your beloved says, then let's spend time together, and says, today not. Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow also not. Maybe 5 minutes where I'm not focused on you. How long will you fool your beloved till he notices that you're not really interested in him or her? Right? It's so basic in our human interactions. Why would it be different with Guruji? Why would it be different with God? And in this verse, he's saying, by hearing the glories of the Lord, by chanting, by serving with ever-increasing sincerity, you will cross over, you will awaken this love. He will reveal himself within. That which motivated even great kings, which you can say can be related with people who have everything materially, even motivated those to renounce and to dedicate themselves to the truth. Because not for nothing, he says, Patram pushpam palam toyam yomat bhaktya prayachate. No, if you offer anything, just a leaf, water, a flower, or fruit, that offering, if it's done with love, then I accept it. If you don't offer it with love, you can chant the whole Vedas. You can do the greatest pujas, elaborated whatever. You can put the biggest tilak. The greatest mala, whatever. It may fool other people, but it will not fool him. And I guess we all want him. We want to feel him, we want to be with him, we want to experience him, we want to love him, to experience this love relationship. We want to deepen it. I guess so. That's why we are here. We don't want just to hear about it. We don't want to hear how sweet the honey is, how fruity it tastes. We want to taste it, at least I want to. That's why we have Guruji, because he can give us that taste. And he will give us that taste. By working on us. And the sincerity is connected, like I said, with having first the faith, then the knowledge. The knowledge also, the knowledge that I need to be purified. So if things comes up, if I'm not in the right space, it's a good thing. It's not something bad. If I'm suffering, it's not something bad. Who is suffering? If we have conflicts in the Sangha, it's not necessarily something bad. They're all opportunities to actually grow. Because that is another point where sometimes we get it wrong. We think that if we are on the spiritual path, if we are on Bhakti Marga, then everything must be easy and good and fine. But, well, that idea you will only keep for a short time, because for those who have been around long enough, there's never a time when there's no challenges. Because the challenges are actually the main thing which makes us grow. That is the level where we can see if we have advanced or not. If we have reason to get angry, but we get not angry, that's a good sign. That means we have improved, we have grown. If there's reason to get jealous, but we don't get jealous, that's a good sign, we have improved. And like that we can see, where do I stand? Having the faith, having the knowledge about how this world works, no, not for nothing, the whole Bhagavad Gita speaks so much about Prakriti. when he speaks about the kshetra, 24 parts of this world he describes, and then he goes even deeper. Those 24 elements are connected with the 3 gunas. And if you are in that guna, then you are like this. And like he describes this machinery in so much detail for us to actually have the right knowledge. Because he says, for those who have understood this knowledge, they will cross over. Because they will become more and more the observer. You don't identify anymore with this machine, with this car. If somebody comes with a Tesla and walks in here and says, I'm a Tesla, we would all just laugh. But it's the same with this body. We are with our mind. We are identifying all the time, even though we know it, theoretically. By sincerity, we will cross over. We will realize who we truly are. We will realize the sweetness of love. Faith, knowledge will increase our love. And therefore, that is my wish for myself, for all of us, for Bhakti Marga on this first day of 2024. Let's make sincerity a sankalpa. Let's make sincerity something which we want to put into our spiritual path, into our life in Bhakti Marga with Guruji. To not waste it. Because if we don't transform, like Guruji says, then it was for nothing. Now is the time. And he has given us the tools. He has given us everything. Tools, Sangha, physical places, so many things. If we live them with sincerity, appreciate them, be grateful, know for what they are, then we will definitely have the result of this path. That's what we actually want. In that sense, I wish you all a happy New Year, a more sincere New Year. May this love reveal itself or be more and more perceptible. Jai Gurudev.